Well, hey everybody, it's Sandy, and welcome back to my channel dedicated to helping you advocate for your own health one topic at a time. So I was going to try to give you guys a nice view. See the Mediterranean Sea behind me? The only thing is it makes me all dark, right? Because that's where the light's coming from. Yeah, so anyway, my daughter is here staying with us. Lucky her, we got COVID the day after she came. So I've got my mask here when I go back inside. I'm wearing my N95. Actually, this is a KN95, the Breathe Tech. So I wanted to fill you in. It's about 24 hours since I last videoed, and that's when I first found out we both had COVID, my husband and I titled the video or I think I titled the Facebook post. That didn't take long. Right after 3 years of being completely risk adverse, I decided to get the boost because we were going to go on a vacation and start living life, and I had COVID within a week. So my case is still very mild. So my husband, he's a little bit older than I am. He's in a risk group, being over 60, and he was coughing a fair amount through the night. Not really once we're up and around, so I don't know. We were sort of on the fence about it, but he decided to go ahead and start taking Paxlovid, which I think it's a good idea. For me, so I had said my symptoms were like a mild cold and just tired. And what I did notice is as the day went on, we got really tired like through the latter part of the day. We went to bed pretty early. We went to bed like 8 at night and probably slept till about 8 in the morning. I felt like this morning or somewhere during the night, like, oh no, I'm getting worse. Because I was like, had just that kind of thing and a little bit of tendency to cough during the night. But now that I'm up and around, I think it's just that issue that you have when you're lying down, and when you have a cold or a post-sinus trip or anything like that. Lying down for a while just makes it worse. So now that I've, had a nice hot shower and I'm up walking around, I feel pretty much like I did yesterday, maybe a little bit better. So it's pretty mild. I feel like it's a little bit dry inside my chest I don't know what that means. I just, I think when I do cough, it's a pretty dry cough. It's not very often. I do have to push fluids. I'll tell you guys in just a minute what I'm doing, like what I'm taking. But yeah, I feel the same or a little better. I feel like I have energy this morning, but I felt like that yesterday too, and then just got kind of tired around 3 in the afternoon. And at that point, we just sort of hung out and watched movies in the apartment here. We're in an Airbnb. So for those of you who have asked, like, we don't have to worry about hotels or room service. We're in an Airbnb. And there is like an equivalent of Uber Eats here. And my daughter was sweet enough she went off to the beach yesterday with a friend. She wanted to get out of here. But she sent us food. And yeah, so we've had lots of people offer us things, and it was just so very nice. So we're doing fine. And I tend to fast for the most part when I'm sick. I don't eat a whole lot. I just eat bare minimum when I'm very hungry. So that's not much. So I'll tell you what we're taking here for COVID. The same things I've been taking for a long time. I think I've said before on my channel. I've been taking vitamin C, vitamin D, quercetin, zinc, a zinc copper supplement, and I've talked about that on the channel before. And I've been doing all those things for a long time. So I've also been taking matcha green tea. I've been drinking matcha tea like every morning for years. So I'm continuing with that. I think all these things are really helping a whole lot, by the way. I am continuing to take Anavid around the clock every 4 hours, and so is my husband. And I had some people say all different things, like, oh, the Anavid didn't help because you got COVID. I don't know. I kind of suspect the Anavid is helping a lot, because apparently the way it works is it reduces the viral load by a certain amount, in a certain number of days. And, who knows? So far, so good. I have this mild case. I don't want to be too cocky about it, and maybe tomorrow we'll see it's not going in that direction, but I hope it is. So I wonder if some of that is because of the Anavid, taking it every 4 hours, 2 sprays in each nostril. And I do find that, like, I don't know if this is just in my head, but within, 30 minutes after taking it, sometimes I feel a little bit better. Sometimes when it's coming up on that 4 hours, I feel a little bit worse. But yeah, I don't know what that means. It's probably in my head. The other thing I'm taking is some Manuka honey. I take that every morning. Sometimes I take it twice a day. I just think it's good for GI health. It's actually good for liver health, even though honey itself is fructose, which is bad for your liver. There are studies that Manuka honey actually is liver protective. And I thought, in case I do end up going on the Paxlovid or whatever, it's also good for the GI gut microbiome, which is really important with COVID. That's another symptom. I've had a little bit of diarrhea. Not bad, but a little bit. So I figured some Manuka honey for the GI tract can't be a bad thing. I also do take a probiotic. I take a spore form, like it's a generic form of Florastor. So that's a yeast, actually, not a bacteria. And I've been taking that for a long time. So I'm continuing to take that. I've read different things that kind of scare me about having diarrhea or GI upset. But I think the prevailing opinion is that some people just get that when they have a virus in general because it's part of the body's way of ridding the virus. The more scary stuff you read is it's part of long COVID. But you know what? I'm not even through the replicating stage yet, so give me a break. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I will say thank you to all of those of you who messaged me with such kind thoughts and kind wishes, and I really do appreciate it. I did get a couple of mean things, or maybe insensitive, not so much mean. Nobody needs to message me to tell me that every single person that they know who's ever had COVID now has long COVID and can't get out of bed and is going to be homeless. And, you know, I know that there's a risk here. I don't think the worst case scenario is likely. I'll have to deal with it if it is, but I don't really live my life based on the worst case scenario with anything. So I drive, right? The worst case scenario is pretty catastrophic. What else can I tell you? I have drunk a lot of fluids. I am keeping the fluids going. The best thing I've found really is bouillon. So there's something in the stores here. It's like the equivalent of chicken soup bouillon. I don't know. It comes in a really large box and you take like a spoonful of the powder. It's not like in cubes. That has really made everything so much better. I'm also drinking some hot teas, like herbal teas, but that bouillon, I guess it's the saltiness of it. That chicken bouillon just really did me a lot of good. All day yesterday I was drinking that, and then this morning, first thing when I got up, I made myself a little cup of that. So the warm liquids help a lot with that dry feeling and that that post-sinus drip to keep things liquefied. Yeah, so I highly recommend that to anybody who's going through this. I'll keep you posted. I mean, at this point, I think what I'm going to do is, you guys can see that beautiful seashore. I think I'm going to go stay outside, obviously, but hang out in a place where there's sun and shade, so I can go back and forth. And I think see how I feel being in the sun a little bit by the sea. I think that might be very healing. Maybe do a little bit of yoga, and I'll just plan that I'm probably going to be tired earlier in the day than later, and that's fine. So I'll just come back and rest a lot after that. Okay. Again, I just want to thank you all so much for all the kind wishes, and I really appreciate it. It's actually very boring just having to sit around here, like kind of isolated. So I enjoy reading the comments, whether they're about that or not. I just enjoy the interaction at this point, and so thank you, and please keep comments coming. And I appreciate everybody detailing their own experiences of how they're dealing with this. I think a lot of people, more than not, of the people who have been like me the last few years, are starting to try to get back to some kind of a new normal. Some people, their old normal, and they're trying to figure out how and whether to do it. So this, you know what, this has been very instructive, and I'm very grateful that at this point it is the way it is, and I'm going to hope that it continues so that nobody gets worse here, and I'll keep you guys updated, and until next time, be well. Bye-bye.